There is a woman you've seen before, maybe at a dinner party, maybe walking through a hotel lobby, maybe standing in line at a coffee shop, completely still, completely quiet, and yet every single person in the room noticed her. She didn't say anything particularly clever. She wasn't wearing the most expensive outfit in the room. She didn't announce herself. She didn't demand attention. And yet, she had it. All of it. You watched her and you thought, what is that? What is that quality she has? That invisible thing that makes her seem so refined, so composed, so completely and effortlessly herself. Here's what most people get wrong. They think elegance is about what you wear. They go out and buy the beige trench coat, the pearl earrings, the quiet luxury wardrobe, and they wait to feel different. They wait to feel like her. But the clothes settle onto their shoulders and something is still missing. Because what they were looking at, what you were looking at, wasn't the coat. It was the way she wore it. It was the way she moved inside it. It was the way she existed in the room. Elegance is a language, a silent one. And today, we are going to decode it, completely, honestly, and specifically. I'm going to give you 8 body language habits. Not tips, not tricks, habits. Because what makes a woman look truly elegant isn't something she performs once in front of a mirror. It's something she has practiced until it lives in her bones. These are the 8 things that quietly, powerfully, and permanently change how the world sees you before you ever open your mouth. Let's begin.
Number 1, the way you walk into a room. Let's start here, because this is where everything begins. The moment you walk through a door, the room makes a decision about you. Not consciously, not deliberately, but instantly, automatically, and surprisingly accurately. Every person in that space registers your entrance and forms an impression. Research from Princeton University found that people form judgments about a stranger within 1/10 of a second of seeing them. 1/10. You don't even have time to smile before the verdict is in. So what are they reading in that fraction of a moment? Your pace, your posture, your intention. Here is what the elegant woman does that almost no one else does. She enters a room as if she expected to be there. Not as if she hoped she was welcome. Not as if she was checking to see whether the room would accept her. She walks in knowing she belongs. There is a specific quality to this kind of walk. It is unhurried. Not slow, unhurried. There is a difference. Slow looks uncertain. Unhurried looks composed. She doesn't rush to fill the space. She doesn't immediately scan the room with wide, searching eyes, the way we do when we're anxious. She doesn't pull out her phone in the first 3 seconds to have something to hold on to. She pauses, sometimes just for a breath. But that pause, that single quiet beat of stillness at the door, communicates something that an entire monologue couldn't. It says, I am not in a hurry. I am not nervous. I am completely here. Think about the way you typically walk into a room. Are you rushing to disappear into the crowd? Are you looking down at the floor? Are you already shrinking before anyone has even had a chance to acknowledge you? The elegant woman doesn't shrink. She arrives. And here's the practical piece. The next time you walk through any door, a restaurant, a boardroom, a party, take one breath before you step inside. Lift your chin slightly, soften your eyes, and walk in as if you were expected. Because you were. You just forgot.
Number 2, stillness as a superpower. This one is deeply underrated, and I think it is the single habit that separates truly elegant women from everyone else. We live in an age of constant movement. We fidget with our phones, we play with our hair, we tap our fingers, shift our weight, adjust our clothing, check our watches, scroll, tap, swipe, all day, every day.
We have been trained by modern life to be perpetually in motion, and we don't even notice we're doing it. But other people notice? Oh, they notice. Because here is the truth about stillness. It is extraordinarily rare, and everything that is rare reads as valuable. When a woman sits in a chair, without fidgeting, without looking around restlessly, without touching her face every 30 seconds, she looks powerful. She looks like someone who is completely at ease in her own skin. And we are magnetically drawn to that quality because most of us have never, not once in our adult lives, felt it ourselves. The elegant woman's hands rest. Her feet stay in one place. Her gaze is steady. She doesn't fill silence with noise or movement just because silence makes her uncomfortable. Studies on nonverbal communication consistently show that people who display high levels of physical stillness are rated as more competent, more authoritative, and more trustworthy than those who fidget. This isn't about being rigid or cold. It's about projecting a sense of inner calm that communicates to everyone around you. I am not threatened. I am not anxious. I am exactly where I want to be. There's something almost cinematic about a woman who is still. Think about the characters in films we've always found compelling, the quietly powerful ones, the ones who don't need to fill every moment. Their stillness is part of their power. And here's the beautiful thing. You can begin practicing this today. Start small. When you're sitting in a meeting, put your hands in your lap and leave them there. When you're waiting for someone at a restaurant, don't reach for your phone. Just sit. Look around you softly. Let the room come to you instead of chasing it. It will feel uncomfortable at first. It will feel unnatural, maybe even vulnerable. That discomfort is exactly where the growth is. Stillness is not emptiness. It is the fullest expression of self-possession.
Number 3, the economy of gesture. Elegant women don't over-explain with their bodies. This is something I want you to sit with for a moment, because it runs counter to what we're often told. We're told to be expressive, to be animated, to use our hands, our faces, our whole bodies to communicate enthusiasm and engagement. And expression is beautiful. It has its place. But there is a specific kind of person, and I'm sure you've met them, who uses too much expression, who responds to every sentence with a dramatic gasp, whose hands are constantly moving, whose face cycles through 15 emotions in 30 seconds. And while they may seem energetic and fun, they rarely read as elegant. They read as scattered. The elegant woman moves with economy. Every gesture she makes is intentional, even if unconsciously so. When she reaches for her wine glass, she reaches once, smoothly, and sets it back down in the same spot. She doesn't wave her hands when she talks, unless she means to. When she nods with her whole neck, not just a jittery bob of her head. This economy of gesture is deeply connected to the concept of grace, which is simply efficient beauty. Nothing wasted, everything purposeful. Think about the way the most elegant women in fashion history have carried themselves. They were not still, like statues. They moved, they laughed, they gestured. But every movement felt curated. Every tilt of the head was perfect. Not because they were performing, but because they had such a clear relationship with their own bodies that nothing was accidental. You develop this by slowing down. Not your life, your body. Before you react physically, let there be one tiny pause. Before the gasp, before the wave of the hand, before the wide-eyed surprise, pause, and then respond. In that pause lives choice, and choice is the beginning of elegance.
Number 4, eye contact that holds. Here's something almost no one talks about, and yet it is one of the most immediately noticed, deeply felt differences between someone who radiates elegance and someone who doesn't. The quality of their eye contact. Not whether they make eye contact, how they make it. There are 3 types of eye contact I want you to understand. The first is avoidance. Looking away, looking down, glancing sideways at your phone. This is the body language of anxiety, of self-doubt,
of someone who doesn't quite believe they deserve the conversation they're in. The second is intensity, the unblinking, almost challenging stare that some people mistake for confidence. It reads as aggression. It makes people uncomfortable. It's not elegant. The third, and this is the one, is warm steadiness. Eye contact that holds, that is genuinely present and genuinely interested, that doesn't dart away every few seconds, but that also softens occasionally, naturally, as it would in any real human exchange. This kind of eye contact communicates something profound. I see you, and I am not afraid of being seen. The elegant woman listens with her eyes. When someone is speaking to her, she is truly watching them, not planning what she'll say next, not glancing at whoever just walked in, not half reading a text. She is there, and the person she's speaking with feels it. They feel seen, heard, considered. And that feeling is so rare in our distracted age that it is genuinely magnetic. It's worth noting that eye contact is also directly related to how confident you appear when wearing certain things. You can put on the most stunning silk blouse, the most perfect tailored blazer, but if you can't hold your own gaze, let alone someone else's, the outfit doesn't land the way it should. Elegance requires the face to participate. Practice this. In your next conversation, make a quiet commitment to stay in someone's eyes a beat longer than you normally would, to listen with your whole face, to let yourself be present. You will be surprised by how much the room changes around you.
Number 5, how you occupy space. There is an invisible question every woman answers every single day, in every room she walks into, and most of us answer it wrong. Not because we're not capable, but because no one ever told us it was being asked. The question is, how much of this space do you believe you deserve? And our bodies answer honestly, every time. Women are culturally conditioned to take up less space, to sit with our knees together, our elbows pulled in, our shoulders slightly hunched forward, as if we're apologizing for our physical presence. We cross our arms. We tuck our feet under our chairs. We make ourselves small. And then we wonder why people look past us. The elegant woman occupies her space with quiet ease. She doesn't sprawl. That's a different kind of behavior entirely. But she sits in a chair as though the chair was made for her. Her shoulders are back and relaxed, not held back in a military posture, but dropped, open, natural. She doesn't hunch over her food at dinner. She doesn't curl into herself during a meeting. She takes up exactly as much space as she was given, and she does so without apology. There's a specific quality to how this looks when someone gets it right. When a woman sits fully in her chair, spine long, shoulders soft, hands at rest, she looks like a portrait. She looks like someone who is so comfortable in her skin that the furniture around her seems to settle too. This is actually deeply connected to breath. When we're anxious, we breathe shallowly. Shallow breath causes us to hold tension in the chest and shoulders, which pulls us forward and inward. When you take a deep breath, a full, slow, low breath, your shoulders drop naturally, your chest opens, your spine lifts. You become, without trying, more present in your body. So the next time you sit down, take a breath first. Let it be long. Let your body settle into the chair instead of perching on the edge of it. Let your feet find the floor. This is your space. You are allowed to be in it. Number 6, the pace of your voice and movements. I want to speak about something that bridges the physical and the vocal, because they are more connected than most people realize. Speed is the enemy of elegance. Not in life, in expression, in movement, in speech. When we are nervous, everything speeds up. We talk faster, we move faster, we reach for things quickly. We respond before the other person has even finished their sentence. We laugh too fast, apologize too fast, finish other people's thoughts because the silence is unbearable. All of that speed reads as anxiety. And anxiety, however understandable, does not read as elegant. The woman who turns heads in a room is the one who moves at a pace that suggests she has never once felt the need to rush. When she speaks, her words come out thoughtfully, with natural pauses that she doesn't apologize for. When she reaches for something, she does so without a hurry. When she turns to look at someone, she turns her whole head, slowly and with focus, rather than snapping her eyes sideways. This is partially about pacing your speech, taking pauses, breathing, allowing silence to be comfortable. But it extends to everything physical. Walk slowly enough that your hips move naturally. Don't rush to pick up something you dropped. Bend down with composure. When you hand something to someone, extend your arm fully and release slowly, not in a distracted toss. Here's a practical experiment. Tomorrow, for 1 hour, try to move at 70% of your normal speed. Not dramatically slower. You're not in slow motion. Just less rushed. Turn your head a little slower when someone calls your name. Pick up your coffee cup with one smooth gesture instead of a distracted grab. Put your phone down with intention rather than letting it drop. Notice how different you feel. Notice how different you look. Speed says, I'm overwhelmed, I'm behind, I'm trying to keep up. Ease says, I'm here, I'm composed, I am enough.
Number 7, the exit. How you leave. No one talks about this one, and it might be the most underestimated aspect of elegant body language there is. We spend so much time thinking about how to enter a room, how to present ourselves, how to maintain composure throughout an interaction, and then we completely unravel at the end. The nervous exit. You've done it, I've done it. You say goodbye, and then you say it again, and then you add one more thing, and then you take 3 steps toward the door and turn back to add something you forgot, and then you wave too many times, and then you're gone. But not before everyone in the room witnessed the full, slightly chaotic process of your departure. The elegant exit is the inverse of this. It is clean, it is warm, and it is complete. The elegant woman says what she means to say, means it fully, and then she leaves. She doesn't over-explain her departure. She doesn't apologize for going. She doesn't linger at the door in a half-in, half-out way that forces everyone to awkwardly sustain the goodbye for another 3 minutes. She wraps up with a genuine, unhurried closing, a moment of real eye contact, a warm but brief touch if it's appropriate, a clear and confident goodbye. And then she turns and walks away without looking back. That last part is important. She doesn't look back. Not because she's cold, not because she doesn't care, but because she has said everything she needed to say, and she trusts that it was enough. Looking back after goodbye is the body language of doubt. Did that land? Were they okay with me leaving? Did I say enough? The elegant woman trusts herself, and that trust, expressed physically as a clean, confident exit, is one of the most striking things you can do in any social situation. Think about films. Think about every iconic character you've ever found compelling. They leave well. There is something complete about the way they go. A scene isn't left hanging. The moment closes. Practice your exits. Make them warm, brief, and decisive. Then let the room hold the impression you left behind.
Number 8, the quiet luxury of unrushed touch. This final habit is perhaps the most intimate and the most consistently overlooked, and yet when you see it done well, it stops you in your tracks. It is the way an elegant woman touches things. Her own things first. Watch how she handles her handbag. Does she dump it on the table with a thud, root through it frantically looking for her phone, toss her sunglasses in sideways? Or does she set it down gently, reach inside purposefully, place her sunglasses on the table with attention? How does she handle her clothing? When she adjusts her collar, does she do it in a frantic, check mirror immediately kind of way? Or does she reach up, feel the fabric between her fingers, and settle it back into place with calm confidence? How does she touch the things around her? A door handle, a chair she's pulling out, a glass she's setting back on a table. All of these tiny, invisible moments add up to something that people feel rather than see. They create the impression of a woman who is not scattered, not frantic, not overwhelmed by the world around her. They create the impression of a woman who has a relationship with her environment, who moves through the world as a participant, rather than someone just trying to get through the day. There's also a profound connection here to how we treat our wardrobe, our beauty rituals, the objects we surround ourselves with. Elegance isn't about the price tag on your bag. It's about how you hold the bag you have. It's about whether you respect the things you own enough to handle them with care. And this extends, beautifully, to how elegant women touch other people. The hand on the arm that is warm without being invasive. The way they greet someone, not in a frantic, over-the-top way, but with a genuine, grounded presence that makes the other person feel genuinely welcomed. Touch, when it's unhurried and intentional, communicates something that words rarely can. You have my full attention. I am not rushing away from this moment. You matter. Begin with your own things. Set your phone down gently. Pick up your coffee with both hands sometimes. When you hang up your coat, actually hang it. Don't throw it. Let your relationship with your physical world become a practice in care. And watch how that care begins to radiate outward into everything. The way you move, the way you speak, the way you make other people feel in your presence.
Closing. What elegance is really about. We've covered 8 habits today, but I want to leave you with something more than a list. Because everything we've talked about, the walk, the stillness, the gesture, the gaze, the space, the pace, the exit, the touch, all of it comes back to one thing: presence. Elegance is not a costume. It is not an aesthetic. It is not a filter you apply to your Instagram feed or a color palette you curate for your wardrobe, though those things can certainly be expressions of it. Elegance is the physical manifestation of a woman who has decided, really decided, to be here, in this moment, in this body, in this room, with this person, without apology and without performance. The woman who stops us in a hotel lobby, the woman at the dinner party who has everyone quietly leaning in, she is not doing something magical. She is simply fully inhabiting herself. And in a world where almost no one does, that is extraordinary. What strikes me most, every time I study this quality in women I admire, is how much of it is simply the removal of something, rather than the addition. It's not about adding more. It's about subtracting the anxiety, the rushing, the performing, the constant mental noise of, am I enough? Do they like me? Am I doing this right? When that noise quiets, even slightly, when a woman walks through a door and doesn't immediately wonder if the room accepts her, when she sits in a chair without wondering if she's sitting correctly, when she holds someone's gaze without wondering if she's making it awkward, something happens. She becomes magnetic. Not because she suddenly has something the rest of us don't, but because she has stopped blocking what was already there. That's all elegance is. The removal of interference between yourself and the world. And these 8 habits are your practice. Not your performance, your practice.
Start with one. Just one. Perhaps stillness, because it asks the most of you and gives the most back. Perhaps the exit, because it's specific and immediate, and you can try it the next time you leave a room. Perhaps the way you walk through a door. Just one deep breath before you step inside. Pick one habit. Practice it today, and then tomorrow, let it grow. Because elegance is not a destination. It is a daily decision, a daily returning to yourself, a daily act of choosing composure over chaos, presence over performance, quiet confidence over loud approval seeking. And the beautiful truth? You already have everything you need. You always did. If this video resonated with you, if something here felt like a reminder of something you already knew somewhere deep inside yourself, share it with someone you love. The women in our lives deserve to know this. They deserve to understand that what the world responds to in them isn't the outfit, isn't the makeup, isn't the perfectly curated appearance. It's the person inside it. It's always been the person. And if you want more content like this, honest, specific, and deeply grounded in what actually changes how the world sees and responds to you, subscribe and come back. We are building something here together, something real. Until next time, walk slowly, hold your space, and remember, you were meant to be here.